Okay, so today what we're going to be working on is multiplying polynomials. Okay, so I'd like you to put me on pause, do the try this, which is perform the indicated operation. Okay, so it is multiplying monomials here. So see if you remember what to do when you multiply x's, y's. There's something that we do with the exponents. So give it a try and then come back and check your answers. Okay, so when we have x times x here, the first one, x times x. So remember, when there's no exponent written, there really is an exponent of 1. So it's really x to the first times x to the first. So remember, when we multiply, we actually add the exponent. So that's x squared, not 2x. That would be adding. So it's x squared. Number 2, we have 3x, and that has an exponent of a 1, remember, because there's no number written. And so we have 3x to the first times 4x to the fifth, right? So when we multiply, we're going to multiply the coefficients. So we're going to get 3 times 4 is 12. And x to the first times x to the fifth, add the exponents. 1 plus 5 is 6, so it's x to the 6. So let's write down those rules. So remember, when we multiply monomials, should be a lesson there. When we multiply monomials, we multiply the coefficients. Multiply the coefficients. And then when you have the same variable, which would be the same base, same variable, which is also called the base, add the exponents. You do not need to have like terms in order to multiply. That's adding. Okay, so let's take a look at the next 3 problems, which is just multiplying. So we have 6x to the third times 5x to the fourth. So we're going to multiply the coefficient. So 6 times 5 is 30. And then we have x to the third times x to the fourth. We add the exponents. That's x to the 7th. All right, next one. We have 3x squared y to the third times 10xy to the second. So we have 3 times 10 is 30. X to the second times x, that's really a 1 there, remember, because no exponent. So that's x to the third. And y to the third times y to the second, 3 plus 2 is 5, so that's y to the fifth. All right, and the last one, so I threw some a's and b's in here. So we have 2 times 5 is 10. We have a, that's a to the first, remember, times a to the second, that's a to the third. And then we have b to the fifth times b to the third is b to the eighth. And then we have this c. So since we're multiplying, we just kind of carry it along down at the bottom. Okay, so we have 10a to the third, b to the eighth, c. All right, so now let's get to multiplying polynomials here. All right, so we have number 1. Oh, sorry, when we multiply polynomials, let me tell you what we have to do. When we multiply polynomials, you just have to remember to distribute. And if you can combine like terms, you combine like terms. All right, so let's take a look at the number 1. So the number 1 is a monomial, and this is a polynomial. So remember, we have to make sure that we distribute. So I'm going to take the number that's on the outside of the parentheses, and I'm going to distribute and multiply. So we have 3 times 4 is 12. X times x to the second is x to the third. Y to the second times y to the fifth is y to the 7th. Now we multiply again. 3 times, watch the sign, that is -4 here. So that's -12. There is no x, so just carry the x along. Y to the second times y to the third is y to the fifth. 3xy squared times 6x to the third y. So 3 times 6 is 18. X times x to the third is x to the fourth. And y to the second times y is y to the third. And then I just have this integer, so I multiply 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, and then you just carry along the x and the y squared. Okay, so let's take a look at number 2. So notice in number 2, we are multiplying two binomials together. So it's 2x plus 3 times x minus 5. So you can, make the rainbows if you want. If you want to line it up and down, you can line it up and down. It's up to you. All right, so we have 2x times x. Remember, there's a 1 in front of the x, and this exponent is a 1. So that's 2x squared. 2x times negative 5 would be negative 10x. 3, now you multiply the 3. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. Now, right here in the middle, we do have like terms that we have to combine. So we have 2x squared. And then we have negative 10x plus 3x. So negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7. So it'll be negative 7x. And then we have minus 15. Okay, let's take a look at number 3. Same thing again, we have multiplying two binomials together. Now these binomials are special. All right, so let's see what happens. So we have 2x to the third times 2x to the third. That would be 4x to the sixth. 2x to the third times negative 1 is negative 2x to the third. 1 times 2x to the third is positive 2x to the third. And 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Now, take a look in the middle here. What do you notice about the middle? So the middles are opposites. So negative 2x to the third plus 2x to the third, they cancel, right? That becomes 0. So I'm left with 4x to the sixth minus 1. So why are these two binomials special? Because the middle terms here canceled out. So what these are called, these binomials, take a look at the binomials. We have 2x to the third plus 1, 2x to the third minus 1. They're the same thing, except the sign in the middle is different. Those actually have a special name. These are called conjugates. C-O-N-J-U-G-A-T-E-S. Conjugates. So conjugates are when the sign in binomials, when the sign in the middle is opposite, different. Anytime you multiply conjugates together, the middle terms, they will always cancel out. All right, let's take a look at number 4. So notice I have this binomial, 3x minus 2, and it's a square. So this is a very common mistake. Kids do this. They take the 2, and they want to go like this. They'll make it 9x squared minus 4, 9x squared plus 4. That's a big no-no. So do not do that. That's not what the square means to do. Think about exponents and what exponents mean. A square means to multiply it by itself. So it means to do 3x minus 2 times 3x minus 2. And now we're going to double distribute. And you will see we will not get what I just wrote. So we have 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times negative 2 is negative 6x. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And then again, in the middle, combine like terms, so we get 9x squared. Negative 6x minus 6x here, negative 6x minus 6x, that's negative 12x. And then I have plus 4. All right, let's take a look at number 5, almost done. Okay, so number 5, we're multiplying a binomial times a trinomial. Now, you can, if you want, I don't suggest this, you can, start multiplying like this, have these whole bunch of like arcs, rainbows, but I really don't feel that when you multiply like that, it's the best way. So for something like this, my suggestion is that you multiply up and down. So 2x squared, I put the trinomial on top, and then put the binomial on the bottom. And then we're going to multiply up and down, like as if, remember back in elementary school when you learned how to multiply 2-digit numbers and 3-digit numbers, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to start with the positive 7. So I do positive 7 times negative 3. Positive 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. And then we move along. positive 7 times negative 5x is negative 35x. And then we have positive 7 times 2x squared. That's 14x squared. All right, now we're going to work with the 2x. So now we're here, working with 2x. So we're going to do 2x times negative 3. So that's negative 6x, and I'm going to put that right below, so negative 6x, the negative 35x, because they're like terms. It won't always happen. I mean, if you have like some crazy polynomials, sometimes you don't have any like terms to match up. All right, so let's go to the next one. 2x times negative 5x. That's negative 10x squared. So I put it right below the 14x squared. So they match up. And then I have 2x times 2x squared. That's 4x to the third. Okay, now I'm going to add them. I'm going to add them straight down. So I have 4x to the third. 14x squared minus 10x squared, that's 4x squared. Negative 35x and negative 6x, that's negative 41x. And then I just bring down the minus 21. Okay, so that's not too bad. So let's try the last one. Now this one's going to get crazy. All right, so let's rewrite. I'm going to put the trinomial on top. This is going to be one that you're going to see. Like you don't get like terms with this. So I have AB squared plus AB minus 4A squared B. And I'm going to multiply that by 5A squared minus B. All right, so I'm going to start with the B, negative B. Remember, that's negative 1. So let me put the 1 in there so we don't forget. And there's a 1 here also. All right, so I'm going to start with negative 1b times negative 4a squared b. So that's going to be positive 4a squared b squared, because I have that b times b. Then I have negative 1b times 1ab. So then that becomes negative 1ab squared. And then we have negative 1 times 2ab squared. So it's going to be negative 2 ab to the third. Right? Because I have b times b squared. All right, so now I'm going to work with 5a squared. So 5a squared times negative 4a squared b. So that's going to give me negative 20a to the fourth. There's no a to the fourth in the yellow, so I'm just going to bring that over to the side. And I have negative 20a to the fourth b. Now I'm going to multiply 5a squared times 1ab. So then that becomes 5a to the third. There's no a to the thirds in yellow, so I'm going to put it over here on the side. 5a to the third b. And then we have 5a squared times 2ab squared. So again, I'm going to get 10. I have an a to the third b squared. And that was a positive there. So you see, no, there are no like terms here. So we're just going to bring it all down. So it's 10a to the third b squared plus 5a to the third b minus 20a to the fourth b minus 2ab to the third minus 1ab squared plus 4a squared b squared. So that's a crazy one. All right, so that's it, and we'll practice some more tomorrow. Everybody have a good day. Have a good night. See you soon.